straight from where you finished the last row, we're going to pick up the corresponding sleeve section. Sorry about that banging noise, if you can hear that. Doing work upstairs. Anyway, so picking up the corresponding sleeve section, we're just going to slip stitch straight through the middle of that increase section. So slip stitch like that to join. Now chain up one and put a double crochet next to that chain, or that slip stitch and chain one into that increase section. So put one double crochet followed by 2 double crochets into the next stitch along. So moving along straight into the front, into the next stitch along, 2 double crochets into that stitch, just like this. And then put a single double crochet into all the stitches, all the way up to the stitch before the next increase section, where you will be putting 2 double crochets again. And then we'll work on joining the other increase section. So I'll meet back up with you at that point and show you where to go from there. Okay, so now that I've reached the stitch before that increase section, the next increase section, I'm going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to join these next 2 bits, so the increase section with the corresponding other side of the arm, we're going to double crochet those together. So yarn over, here, I want to make sure you see this, so yarn over, then picking up the other side, you're going to insert your hook into that chain one on the other side, and then also insert your hook into the increase section where you've already been. So into the increase section, and you're going to double crochet those 2 bits together. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and there's your double crochet to join that sleeve area. Alright, so moving on from there, we're going to continue to increase the front so that it wraps around to the back, and to do that we're going to chain up 1 and turn the work, and then put a double crochet into the first stitch along, 1 double crochet followed by 2 double crochets into the second stitch, 1 and 2, then single double crochets into all the stitches up until you get to the second last stitch. So single double crochets till you get to the second last stitch. Alright, here I am at the second last stitch, so 2 double crochets into that same stitch, 1 and 2, followed by 1 double crochet into the last stitch. Always make sure you get that last stitch, just so you don't, mess up your stitch count. Alright, and then moving straight on from there, we're just going to chain up 1, turn the work again, and do exactly what you did in the last row. A single double crochet into the first stitch, 2 double crochets into the second stitch, single double crochets in every stitch until the second last stitch, where you'll put another 2 double crochets followed by 1 double crochet into the last stitch. We're going to be doing this until both of these sides wrap around your back and meet in the middle in quite a snug fashion, but I will meet back up with you when I've reached that stage and show you how it's going to look. And then we'll talk about where to go from there. I'll show you how to join it, and we'll continue increases for the skirt. Yes, meet back up with you then. Alright, now that I've increased to a point where the front now wraps around and fits snug in the middle of my back on both sides, they both wrap around to fit snug, I'm going to join. So to do that, I'm just going to pick up the other side and slip stitch straight into the top of that chain 1 on the other end. So just going straight into there, slip stitch. It's as simple as that, just slip stitching into there, and there you have it, we've joined. Okay, so our next step will be we're going to now chain up 2, turn the work, and what we need to do is we need to continue increasing for the skirt. And to do that, what I do, because I don't want the skirt to be like too frilly or out there or anything, I'm only going to be increasing it slightly. So to do that, now where am I? There I am. Alright, to do that, I'll be increasing for a few rounds every 20th stitch. So, and also, at this point, what you don't want to do is put your stitch or your beginning stitch right into the stitch just there beneath the chain 2. Go into the next one along, because always your last stitch is going to be into that slip stitch right at the end. So, yeah, increasing every 20th stitch for a few rounds. Basically just do this, I would say, until you can estimate that it will fit comfortably over your hips, because you don't want it to be too puffy, you don't want it to be too out there. You just want it to just fit snug, fit comfortably. And that's what I'm going for with this particular dress. So I'm going to go away and do that. So I'm just increasing every 20th stitch till it does that. And then after that, just continue with the rest of the yarn that you've got until it's as long as you want it to be. And then after we've done that, I'm going to show you how to do the sleeves. So I'll meet back up with you at that stage and show you where to go from there. Hi. I just wanted to cut in quickly at this point because after I joined the back and I started work on the rounds of increase, I quickly, well, not so quickly, but I realised that it just wasn't working out the way I wanted it to, and I actually had to unpick it a couple times more before I eventually started doing it right, and it's worked out. I mean, happy to say it's worked out now, but the reason I'm doing this is because this garment has been such a monumental process that I didn't want to unpick it again. I thought I'd just come on here and tell you like this. So what I did was, obviously after I joined it, I chained up 2, turned the work, double crochets back in the opposite direction, always making sure not to put the first stitch directly beneath that chain 2 into the next stitch along, because the final stitch will be the joining slip stitch, sorry. That will be the final stitch. So I did that, and with the increases, what I've done is so I started out, the first row of the first round was every 20th stitch was an increase, so 2 into the 20th stitch, get to the end, slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, chain up 2, turn the work, and then 1 round of no increase, followed by a round of increase of every 20th stitch, and so on until I'd done that alternating increase round, no increase round, until I'd done 7 rounds of increase. And that's where I found that it fits comfortably on me, and because unfortunately when I just did rounds of increase one after the other, it started to bulge in weird areas and just look strange, and I didn't like it. So that's what I've done. I'm sorry I wasn't able to lead you through that process with me, but unfortunately it's just, that's the way of this at the moment. Please accept this as compensation for that. I will now, however, show you how to do the sleeves, because I finished on the dress section and now I'm going to start work on the sleeves. So yeah, I'm happy to say that this is after much hard work, trial and error, maniacal laughter and tears, this garment is finally coming together into something that I will be wearing. Possibly out in public, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get started on the sleeves. Alright, now to begin work on the sleeves, what we do is we find the section where we've joined the sleeve area, and we just continued to work on the front before, but now we're going to take a fresh piece of yarn, and make our slip knot. And then, because I've got 37, I think it was 37 stitches for the sleeve, I'm just going to find the next stitch along see, just like this. So find the first stitch, your first stitch. So for me that will be that one. And also, because this is a back and forth pattern, what I'm doing is when I go to join a piece of yarn or do anything, I'm doing it as though I've, you know, turned the work. I hope this is going to make sense. So basically join it not so that the braided side is facing you, but the other side. So see what I mean? There's the braided side. That's the braided side, but this side. Okay, so here's my first stitch. So that one just there. I'm going to put my hook through. That stitch just there. Attach the slip knot, pull it through the stitch, fasten the yarn, and then straight from there we're going to chain up 2 and putting our first single crochet into that same space that we put our slip knot into, and our chain 2, so that's a double crochet, and then double crochets all the way around into every stitch till you get to the final stitch. Alright, and here I am at the end of the round, and to finish up that round we just slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, that original chain 2, like that. So slip stitch just like that, chain up 2, and then we turn the work. So, hang on a second. We turn the work and double crochets back in the opposite direction. Now, what I mean by not putting your first stitch into the stitch directly below the chain 2, so that is, whoops, that is that one just there. Don't go into that stitch just there, go into the next one along, because at the end you're going to be putting your final stitch into that one right next to the chain 2. I don't know if you can see that one just there. Okay, so yeah, just double crochets back around the other way. And continue to do this till you've grown the length of your sleeve to the size that you want it to be. For me, it was 40 rounds, because I've already done the other sleeve. So that's what I've got, and that actually turned out to be the majority of a ball of yarn. So all up, I also want to mention that this garment, I'll probably mention it at the end anyway, but I'll just do it now. This garment, I think, has so far taken me 8 balls of yarn to make. I still may increase the length, so I'm going to use up all of the yarn for this. But yeah, so far it seems to have taken me 8. Alright, you know, I've purchased 8 balls of yarn. Anyway, whatever. Oh, thank you for sticking with me through this. If you've watched till this point, wow, thank you so much. No, really, thank you. You're a champion. And we will finish up our sleeves, and at that point we will try on our dresses. We'll see how they look. I am happy with the way this has turned out no matter what, because it's just way better than anything else I accomplished during this process. Anyway, yes, I will see you shortly, and we'll see how they look. Okay, so here is the completed dress. And as you can see, I've made, with the remaining yarn that I had, I made a hooded cowl. So it's not actually attached to the dress, but it's separate, and I think it looks kind of cute with it. But yes, so with this dress, I think it can probably evolve a little more. But it's been a learning process, and I've learned what to do, what not to do. I don't know whether I enjoyed the entire thing, but, you know, I'm happy with how it turned out, and that is enjoyable in itself. Okay, so, yes, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoy the dress if you make it, and thank you for watching.